This is John King. I'm speaking with Brian Foster, the owner of Master Barber of Missoula.
How are you doing, John?
How are you doing, sir?
Good.
And, hey, anyway, I understand that there's a little bit of an incident going on right now between you and an individual that's currently running in a primary for a congressional seat. And I was hoping maybe you could just give us your side of the story.
Yeah, sure. I was working in the barbershop, and Gary Stein came in for a haircut. And when he came over to the chair to sit down in the chair, I have a wall of pictures of veterans that come in for service in my shop. So I hang their pictures up in a way to honor them and also spark conversation with the next generation about service to your country and that there's tons of jobs out there available in the military service they might not have known about. So he sat in a chair, and he saw the military photos, and he was like, "Oh, you're a veteran?" I said, "Yeah, I served over 20 years in the Marine Corps." And he said to me, "How does it feel to be a baby killer?" And I was kind of shocked by that and didn't know how to respond initially. And I continued to give him a good haircut. You know, sometimes you hear things from people, you still have to be professional. And that's the way I conducted myself. He got his haircut, and he headed out. But it's one thing I won't forget. And when someone says that to you, it's something you don't ever forget.
And obviously, I wasn't there, and I guess my question is, like, how do you know that what he was saying was intended to apply to you? How do you know that you just didn't catch a comment that was related to something else, or maybe an off-color joke about something else, or maybe talking about someone else's opinion? You're pretty sure that it was directed at you?
Yeah, at myself, and I felt at other service members as well. And we weren't joking about it. I definitely wasn't laughing about it. That's a pretty terrible comment to say to a serviceman or woman. And, yeah, it's just, I don't think that type of character is who we need representing his constituents in Congress, especially his military constituents in Congress, who may come to him in the future with problems about their military service or needs for their families. And his office would be the one to investigate those claims, and I don't think they would get a fair shake out of his office.
Now, I have actually spoken with the individual here, Gary, and he says, I can't imagine myself ever saying something like that. He denies saying it, and he said if he did say it was in some other manner than the one that you interpreted it as. That being said, my question for you is that, obviously it was just the two of you that heard this, or are there more people involved? I mean,
yeah, there was other gentlemen in the shop, and I was trying to rack my brain to figure out who it was at that time, and I haven't been able to come up with those gentlemen. But other gentlemen in the shop heard that too after he left, and they were upset about his comments as well. And I stand by what was said to me. I remember it vividly. I'm a retired Marine, and I still live by my honor and my integrity. It's beyond reproach, and that's how I conduct my life. So I know it was said. He said it to me.
So he says it didn't happen, and that if it were to have happened, that you would have approached him, confronted him on it. Did any kind of confrontation happen on your end, or did you just go on with your work? And if you did, why didn't you do anything?
Well, during my time in the Marines, I was a military policeman, and as a police officer, you learn that you got to take a lot of flack from people and just let it roll off. And I still kind of carry that part of my attitude with me to this day, that you're going to hear things in life that just aren't going to be appropriate, and you can get mad and yell and scream about it. You can do all sorts of things, but really, to take that person's power away, you don't answer them back, or you don't give them the opportunity to, for example, for him to jump into a situation where he's like, here's another crazy veteran. That's not the case. So I got pretty thick skin, and I guess that's how I can describe it.
So that thick skin aside, what made you, it's my understanding you've run a Facebook comment, or at least kind of promoted one or something. It's out there now.
Yes.
And, what led to that? This has been how long since this event occurred?
About 18 months.
Okay, so it was in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And you held on to it until he announced his run for office.
Yeah. He didn't come into the shop. I think he came in the shop one more time after that, but he didn't come in after that. And it's kind of like, no loss for me. But when I did see that he's running for a political office, I think that's a game changer on the comments that he made. And he's a public figure now, and I think the public needs to be informed of how he conducts himself. And I'm sure I'm not the only person he's made those comments to. Usually people that make those comments have made them to other people or similar comments to other people as well. So I'm sure you'll be hearing from them.
All right. Thanks so much for your time, sir.